Get up and do some awesome stuff. All right, let's pray real quick before we start your night. Dear God, I want to thank you for each student here today. I want to thank you for safety as we traveled in, safety as we play games. I invite you into this room and have this message reach all those who you want to hear tonight. Again, I just thank you for being here. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so we're going to start a little game because I love games, right?
Yay!
All right, so everyone gets to stand up. Alright, who here has ever played Would You Rather? Most have. Yeah, awesome. Alright, so I'm going to give you two options. First option, you're going to go that side of the room. Second option, you're going to go that side of the room. Pretty simple, right? What?
Is there a third option?
There's no middle ground. You have to choose one or the other. It's Would You Rather. Alright, so question number one. Would you rather be blind or deaf?
That would be me too.
That's awesome.
My life is music.
Blind, deaf. You got to pick blind or deaf.
Blind or deaf?
Blind or deaf. Wow. Okay. That's deaf.
What did you say?
Blind.
I've already been that before, I'm going to
Alright, so overwhelming for deaf. Alright. Next one. Would you rather your shirts always be 2 sizes too big or 1 size too small? 2 sizes too big, 1 size too small.
I'm jacked. I can go for the small.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I pretty much just ripped through every shirt I own, Ian, so. What can I say? Alright, this one's going to be a little more difficult. Only eat pizza for the rest of your life.
Oh, you're mean.
Or only eat tacos for the rest of your life. Tacos, by definition.
Yeah, where's taco pizza?
In a shell, taco. Taco.
You can get taco pizza.
What about black taco?
You can have taco pizza. Pizza. Yeah.
But it's not the same.
You count it, yeah. Alright. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
I'm gonna eat that duck.
I know the answer to this one.
I'm gonna hunt that duck down and eat him.
It is this one. How are the moms
Last one. And this one's going out all you millennials out here. Alright. Would you rather never watch any type of video ever again? That includes GIFs, Netflix, TV, movies, any kind of video you could ever imagine. Or never listen to music.
Holy crap! Oh, that's easy. Can I pick 4?
No.
I need music.
No traffic one.
So if there is music in a movie, does that count?
Wait,
Music?
Like no music. Like Steven's up there jamming on his guitar on Sunday morning. Nothing. You get nothing.
I didn't listen to anything. I was in my car silent the entire time up here. Wait, so
Alex, we respect you.
if there's music in a video,
If there's music in a video,
You don't hear it.
you can listen to it. All right. You're gonna want to take a seat now.
but if I don't want to take a seat,
That was easy. I only had to move.
You got it. Sorry.
would you rather take a seat or stand?
Yeah.
For music instead of the video.
I don't know what to do. I don't get it. You guys just follow it.
All right. Tough choices, right? Some more than others, probably. Each one of them, you had to give something up. Give something you probably enjoyed up. Today we're going to learn about another guy who had to make some tough choices. So let's dive in. You got your Bibles? If you don't, there are some scattered around the room on the table.
I have a Bible first in front of me.
Hey, you probably got the right one. That's fine. Bible verses are good no matter what they are. All right, so we are in Mark chapter 10, verse 17. Oh wait, we gotta get there. Chapter 10. verse 17.
Mark.
Mark.
So
Book
New
of
Testament, Matthew, Mark.
Matthew, Mark, right there. Let's go to Luke, too far. Your Revelations, well, you're not remotely close. Chapter 10,
Rich young man.
I love Genesis.
verse 17. Genesis, you need to keep flipping a little farther.
Almost there.
Swipe right at least 12 more times.
I'm so close.
Swipe right at least 12 more times.
Alright, so,
You sure this is still Bible class?
as the verses we begin, we see a man running to Jesus and falling at his feet. Okay, we've come to know this man as the rich young ruler. Who here has ever heard of the rich young ruler before? Okay, pretty common story. Most of you have heard of it. Awesome. So, why is it relevant that he is the rich young ruler? Well, it talks a lot about his character. He's rich. Okay, so he's wealthy. Whatever he does it well. He's young, and he's a ruler. So, whatever he does it exceptionally well, and he's been given a seat of power at a very young age. Most likely, he is a high achiever. He would have gotten all A's in class. He probably wouldn't have struggled at all learning. He works very hard at what he does to succeed in life. He shows great dedication, and that dedication is very evident to those around him. He is the guy you wanted to hang out with. He was well respected. He's the guy you wanted at parties. He's the guy you wanted to be seen with. He's probably tall, dark, handsome. When he walks to a room, everyone kind of stopped what they were doing. You guys remember Cinderella? When she comes in the party, everyone's jamming out, having a good time dancing. She's at the top of the stairs, everyone just stops and just looks at her. That was this guy. Okay? He had everything. He was everything that everybody wanted to be. Okay? Ladies out there, you were looking at him for marriage. Your parents were looking at him for marriage. He was the guy. Alright? And now we see him running and kneeling at the feet of Jesus. Okay? Running's pretty common in our society, right? I mean, you're just playing games, hanging out, having a good time. People run all the time. Running in Jesus' time was not very graceful. It was not very respected. They wore these long tunics. Generally, when you ran, you kind of had to hike it up a little bit like a skirt. You run. It's kind of awkward. It's not very pretty. Not very respectable. So why is he running? Why is he kneeling in the dirt in front of Jesus? This guy's got everything. So, let's see what he says. Verse 17b, he says, "Good teacher, what must I do to inherit life?" Jesus responds, "Why do you call me good? Only God is truly good. But to answer your question, you know the commandments. You must not murder, you must not commit adultery, you must not steal, you must not testify falsely, you must not cheat anybody, honor your father and mother." "Teacher," the man replied again, "I have obeyed all these commandments since I was young." So, he calls Jesus good teacher. So he knows who Christ is. He understands that he is a rabbi and that he is good, that he is from God. He claims to have kept the commandments since he was young. There's no evidence anywhere in any kind of scholarly manuscripts in the Bible anywhere that claims otherwise. So he has an understanding of Scripture. He knows who Christ is, and he claims to follow Christ. Okay? Awesome. Clearly he's taken his dedication to his knowledge of the world, his knowledge of wealth, leadership, and he's moved it into his faith as well. Just one more check mark in his perfect scorecard of life. But Jesus isn't satisfied. So, if we look down at verse 21, Jesus looked at him and loved him. "One thing he lacked," you said. "Go sell everything you have and give it to the poor. You will have treasure in heaven, then come and follow me." At this, the man's face fell. He went away sad because he had great wealth. Down in verse 24, the disciples were amazed at his words, but Jesus said again, "Children, how hard is it to enter the kingdom of heaven? It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven." Tough choices. Now, little side note to remember, Jesus' ministry was not something that was well funded. They probably bounced around neighbor to neighbor, people they knew, people gave them food when they needed it. They didn't have a lot. There wasn't like a caravan of people behind them that was just giving them food and they were staying in wealthy palaces or anything like that. It's been very easy for Christ to be like, yeah, you're doing great, you know who I am, you trust in me, come along. Can use some of that money, bankroll his ministry a little bit, get it going, be awesome. Also, as I mentioned before, people knew him. He was very well liked. People came from everywhere to see Christ. Imagine if this rich young ruler was standing next to Christ. Imagine how many more people would have come to see Christ. Imagine how many people that would have brought in to his ministry. His fame alone could have skyrocketed the amount of people that Christ saw. Christ didn't want his money. Christ didn't want his fame. Christ wanted his heart. He wanted his whole life. Christ wanted his surrender. When I was 17, being in my senior year in high school in small town Pennsylvania, I had been accepted to Bluffton University, about 20 minutes down the road, 8 hours from home, Northwest Ohio. I found myself panicking about leaving home. See, I'd been abused by my dad when I was a kid. I held a lot of hatred inside my heart. For my dad, for myself, sometimes for God. I thought I wasn't good enough for anybody to want me. I wasn't worthy of someone to love me. I dealt with my pain by doing art. I expressed my pain through my art on canvases, on paper, whatever it might have been. And I found myself excelling. Everything I did, everyone loved. I found purpose in my pain through my art. As I began taking more art classes, I found friends who had similar interests. They liked art, they liked what I did, I liked what they did. I found an escape from feeling like I wasn't good enough. I found an escape from not being wanted. Moving to Ohio would ruin that. I'd lose my friends. That small group of people that made me feel wanted would be gone. And then one day out of the blue, my art teacher comes to me and says, I enrolled you in a scholarship program at art school, about an hour down the road, a town called Kutztown. I got accepted. I stopped. Wait, somebody wanted me. Somebody chose me. I didn't choose them, I didn't go after them, they chose me. That was all I ever wanted, was to be chosen by somebody else, to be wanted by somebody. It was an hour down the road. I still have my group of friends. I could still be with them. I could still be wanted. I had a visit planned in Bluffton already for that spring, so I went along, knowing I wasn't going there, knowing that I was going to Kutztown. I was going to be wanted there. Awesome. Yeah, God had bigger plans than what I did. As I walked around campus on a campus tour that I had taken a year ago, my junior year, something changed inside me. Everywhere I looked, I felt like I was at home. I felt like I belonged there. There was something that was calling me to Bluffton. Didn't know what it was. I got home, I had a decision to make. See, God wanted me to surrender my pain and my need for the approval of others. He wanted me to lean on God and not on other people. He wanted me to take that leap of faith and trust in Him instead of leaning on the things that were safe in the world. He wanted me to lean on Him and not what held me up. I'm not telling you guys that having friends is bad or having a system of people that care about you is bad. I'm not telling you that having money is bad. It's about something much bigger than that. It's about idolatry. It's about relying on something else other than God. See, I held my worth in who liked me, who wanted me, who cared for me. The rich young ruler held his worth in his power and fame. Isn't it ironic? Through all manuscripts, we have no idea who this guy is. This is the only time we hear about him. The only things we know about him is that he is a rich young ruler. That's it. His name is so irrelevant because his worth and his identity were in his wealth and power, were in his leadership and his fame. His name didn't matter. That was who he was. And that was Christ's issue. Christ loved the ruler enough to have a difficult conversation with him about surrender. It said, how many of us can think of somebody we know who is unwilling to surrender their idols? Maybe a friend. Maybe a loved one. Maybe someone we know in school. Maybe it's you. Who is it that we need to have that difficult conversation with? See, too many times as Christians, we aren't willing to fully love somebody enough to have that conversation with them. We aren't willing to step out and make that tough choice to talk to somebody. We see them at church on Sunday mornings, and we see them worshiping God, and then we see them at school, and we see other choices they're making. And we think they're probably good enough, or they're good enough that I don't want to have that conversation with them. I don't want to risk my friendship with them to have that conversation. See, from the outside, the rich young ruler was everything girls wanted and was everything that guys wanted to be. He knew who Christ was. And he wanted to bow before Christ's throne. But he was unwilling to take his idols off his throne first. He was unwilling to unseat himself from things of the world. His idolatry was too great for him to give up. It says the rich young ruler walked away sad, for he had great wealth, and it meant too much to him. As you guys go throughout your week, I encourage you to think about the rich young ruler. How do you guys relate to him? None of you have great wealth. None of you are rulers. What kind of idols are you holding on to? What aren't you willing to give up? What aren't you willing to surrender to God? And then I want you to ask yourselves, are you willing to put your pride down and surrender yourselves to Christ? Or will you, like the rich young ruler, walk away sad? I'm going to pray real quick, and then Pastor Steve is going to finish us out here with a song. Dear God, I just want to thank you for everything that you've blessed each of us with. You truly are amazing and wonderful. I ask that you speak to each person in this room and help them to see what idolatry they hold as rulers in their heart. Help them to surrender that idolatry and that to give that identity to you. Help us each be willing and fearless in difficult conversations we have with our loved ones about idolatry. Again, thank you for everything that you've blessed us with. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, guys. Thank you.